With just 82 days until YCS Houston as of recording this video, the grind to make the best competitive Dark Magician deck has already begun, and now it has accelerated. With my last Turbo Dragoon build against the meta, that is exactly what these past locals games were, grind games. Although only pulling out one 2-1 victory, I am happy to say all 4 rounds went to Game 3 every single time, with 3 of the 4 games going almost into the 45-minute time limit. Dark Magician is still competitive, and now it is time to rise to the occasion. Against all odds, I will top with Dark Magician in April at YCS Houston. Once again bringing the blind second build to locals to test how it would hold up against the current meta. And this time, locals was flooded with Fiendsmith engines driving Malice cores. We went 1-3 this go round, but we did not go down easily. As mentioned, every round went to Game 3 just proving that Dark Magician is fully capable of competing with the meta. As Konami's middle child, it goes without saying we desperately need support. I won't grovel, I won't complain, I'll just leave it at that. But without proper support, it begs the question, how the hell do you make Dark Magician competitive? As mentioned earlier, a blind second Turbo Dragoon build is a solid candidate. With a couple of variations of the build seeing some success, I am almost tempted to just bring the current build I have been playing to the YCS. Some of the positives of my build are as followed. In the current format, it is no issue to get rid of links with cards like Ultimate Slayer or Daruma Cannon. My opponents almost never see these cards coming. Because Dragoon is our main boss monster in our deck, cards like There Can Only Be One and Evenly Matched are great for leveling the field. When your opponent actually has monsters other than links, the book cards as well as Swords of Concealing Light are perfect for the strategy of flipping cards face down so they can't activate their effects, and popping them for burn damage with a full power Dragoon, attempting to swing for game or at the very least, clearing fields and simplifying the game state. In a simplified game state, Dragoon wins 95% of the time. When you can pop your opponent's face down monsters and or force them to utilize all of their resources before a Dragoon even hits the field, it is not only challenging, but the odds of outing Dragoon in that game state are insurmountable. But I did not say 100% of the time. With that being said, here are some of the negatives, at least in my current build. It is a tight 40 card deck, and more often than I'd like, I draw into one or sometimes a few of the 5 monsters in my entire deck. We never want to see them in our hand because they are essentially dead cards. There are no hand traps in this deck, so allowing your opponent to set up their entire board can be intimidating at times. And if you don't have any line to either Dragoon or some sort of disruption, a full board staring you down with no out will be game every single time. Cards like Ash Blossom, Dimensional Barrier kill this deck because all we do is fusion summon. Activating Dragoon's negate effect on our opponent's turn is a double-edged sword. When the opponent plays talents, they can non-target take Dragoon and possibly swing for game or use him as material for another monster. All in all, the blind second Turbo Dragoon build is an excellent candidate that I believe can be pushed even further with the right tuning. A second possible build is the Dark Magician Dragoon Sky Striker build. It is essentially the same thing as my build, but instead of board breakers and stuns, Sky Striker strategically baits out cards like Ash, allows follow-up for your next turn, and allows your spell cards like Ref to be 100% resolvable. Where does this leave us as Dark Magician players? With limited options and zero support, I believe it is up to us as a community to find these solutions. With that being said, I wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who has not only supported me through my channel, but have reached out and made me a better player. There is plenty of room for improvement and always should be. But with the YCS nearing, I still have a few ideas to flesh out, and I want to present 2 of them to you all now. But before I do, I want to say this. I am not a content creator or player who hoards information or ideas. I've always wanted to be the player who can give back and share as much as possible because there were so many others who did the same for me. This community gets a bad rap sometimes, and if I can do anything, it would be to try to combat those negative connotations by sharing my thoughts and ideas for Dark Magician. If it's been done before, I didn't know. If it hasn't, I hope there's a player better than me who can find this and make it work. So these two profiles are very much still in theory and in its infancy build. But with enough players suggesting these, it warrants at least my attempt and attention. The first build is a Dragoon Eldritch profile. The second is a Dragoon Labyrinth profile. Once I have gathered enough info on these cards and can construct a profile, I would begin testing both and reporting back to you all. As always, thank you all so much for stopping by and checking on the video. I'm always open to suggestions and would love to hear yours in the comments section down below.